We don't serve trash here. Take your broke ass somewhere else. The words landed like a slap. Derek Torres, the floor manager of the Harborside Tavern, an upscale bar tucked into Boston's financial district, didn't bother lowering his voice. He sneered openly at the man sitting alone at the end of the bar, wearing worn work boots and a frayed jacket that looked like it had survived a decade of hard winters. The place buzzed with polished confidence. Lawyers in tailored suits. Bankers laughing over cocktails that cost more than a day's groceries. Crystal glasses clinked. Laughter floated through the air. And then there was him. The man didn't argue. He didn't snap back. He didn't even flinch. He just stayed seated and quietly asked for water and fries, the cheapest thing on the menu. Across the room, Sarah Mitchell noticed everything. She was on her fifth straight double shift, her feet aching, her back tight, her smile worn but still sincere. As a black waitress in a restaurant like this, she knew Derek's game well. Humiliate anyone who didn't fit the image. Protect the brand. But something about the man's tired eyes stopped her. They weren't lazy or scheming. They were exhausted. The kind of exhaustion she recognized from her own reflection during the hardest years of her life. She walked over before Derek could say anything else. "Hi there," she said gently. "What can I get started for you?" The man hesitated. What's the cheapest thing you have?" "No judgment," she replied. "Fries start at $7. Mozzarella sticks, too." "Just water and fries," he said, glancing at his phone like he was checking a bank balance he already knew was empty. Sarah paused. She really looked at him this time. "Long day?" she asked quietly. He swallowed. "Yeah, long week." She leaned slightly against the bar, lowering her voice. "Can I be honest with you?" He nodded. The kitchen made a few extra burgers tonight. New line cook, still learning portions. One of them's going in the trash in about 10 minutes. He stiffened. "I can't pay for a burger." "It's already paid for," she said firmly. "It's either you or the trash." He stared at her, frozen. Tried to speak. Failed. "Why would you do that?" He finally whispered, voice cracking. "Because everyone who walks through that door deserves to be treated like they matter." She smiled softly. "So, can I bring it out?" He nodded. From behind the POS station, Derek had been watching. He saw exactly what Sarah was doing, and he didn't like it. "That's a $24 burger," he hissed at her moments later. "Unauthorized comp. That's coming out of your tips." "Fine," she said, "and you're cut early. 9 instead of 11. "Fine." She walked away without another word. At the bar, the man heard everything. What had first left him speechless now ignited something colder, sharper. 8 minutes later, Sarah returned with a burger, upgraded sides, a small salad, even a chocolate mousse. "You didn't have to," he began. "I know," she said, "but you matter." She walked away before he could respond. For the next 2 hours, he watched her work. Grace under pressure. Kindness without calculation. Dignity even when punished for it. At the end of the night, he watched from the hallway as Derek distributed the tip envelopes. Sarah opened hers. $63. No surprise, just tired acceptance. Later, alone in the locker room, she pulled out a warm manila envelope labeled in neat handwriting. Liam's college fund. She added another receipt. Another lie documented. And somewhere in the cold Boston night, a man sat in his car, knowing everything had changed. The following Monday, the staff gathered in the Harborside conference room. Derek sat confidently at the head of the table. Then the door opened. Alexander Brooks walked in. Owner, founder's son, legacy. Sarah's blood ran cold. It was him, the man from the bar. "I sat at that counter Thursday night," Alex said calmly. "Ordered water and fries." Gasps rippled through the room. He turned to Sarah. "You gave me dignity when it cost you money, when it cost you hours, when you were punished for it." She was crying now. Then he turned to Derek. "You told your staff total tips were $835. The screen lit up. Security footage. Date after date. Derek counting tips. Pocketing cash. Deposits matching discrepancies exactly. 43 instances. Over $31,000 stolen. Silence. Sarah stepped forward with her envelope. I wrote everything down, she said. I didn't know if anyone would believe me, but I knew someone had to care. Alex looked at her like she'd just handed him the truth itself. Derek was escorted out in silence. Then Alex turned back to staff. This is my failure, he said, and it ends today. No forced tip pooling. Full transparency systems. Anonymous reporting. Immediate restitution with interest. He handed out checks. When he reached Sarah, her legs nearly gave out. Then he offered her the assistant general manager position. Full benefits, including coverage for her son's insulin. She broke down completely. 3 months later, the harbor side was different. Kinder, fairer, safer. Sarah trained new staff with one rule. Everyone who walks through that door matters. 6 months later, Derek pleaded guilty to wage theft. And Alex, sitting at the same bar, spoke to camera. Wage theft affects 40 million Americans. Document everything. Know your rights. Protect your people. Behind him, Sarah greeted a new customer with the same warmth as always, because dignity, real dignity, had become the standard, not the exception. Monday morning arrived with a knot in Sarah Mitchell's stomach. She'd been called in on her day off for a mandatory staff meeting. No explanation, no context, just a calendar invite stamped with a single line. Owner will address concerns. She sat near the back of the Harborside conference room, hands folded tightly in her lap. Around her were familiar faces: Emma Williams, Jason Davis, Rebecca Moore, Maria from the host stand, Tommy from the kitchen. Derek Torres at the head of the table, relaxed, almost smug, scrolling through his phone. Probably here to congratulate us, Derek muttered. Revenue's been up. The door opened. A tall man in a tailored suit stepped inside and closed it behind him. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. It was him, the man from Friday night. The worn jacket, the tired eyes, the fries and water. Except now, he looked nothing like a struggling laborer. He looked exactly like what he was. Power. I'm Alexander Brooks, the man said calmly. I own this restaurant. The room went dead silent. Derek frowned. Wait. Thursday night, Alex continued, voice steady. I sat at the bar wearing my father's old work jacket. I ordered water and fries. Sarah's hand flew to her mouth. You, he said gently, turning toward her, asked me if I'd had a long day. You told me the kitchen had extra burgers and asked if I'd help you by eating one that would otherwise go to waste. Sarah stood halfway out of her chair. I'm sorry. I didn't know who you were. Don't apologize, Alex said firmly. Let me finish. He walked closer. You gave me a $24 burger. You upgraded the sides. You added dessert. And when your manager told you it was coming out of your tips, you said fine. When he cut your hours, you said fine. And you still served that meal with kindness. Sarah was crying now, silent tears streaking down her face. Alex turned slowly to Derek. You told the staff that night total tips were $835. Is that correct? Derek shifted in his seat. Yes. It was a slow night. Alex opened his laptop and rotated it toward the room. The screen filled with security footage. Derek, alone in the back office, counting cash, slipping bills into his jacket, recounting what remained. Gasps rippled through the room. 43 times, Alex said quietly. Over 8 weeks. And when I audit the past 18 months, the total stolen comes to $31,200. Emma covered her mouth. Jason's fists clenched. Rebecca stared at the screen, frozen. Alex clicked to another file. Your bank deposits matched the stolen amounts exactly. November 7th, $1,235. October 31st, same. November 3rd, $890. Derek's confidence collapsed. Those are just estimates. No, Alex cut in. They're facts. He turned back to the group. Sarah, do you have anything you'd like to share? All eyes moved to her. She stood slowly, legs shaking, and walked out into the hallway. Through the glass wall, Everyone watched as she reached into her locker and pulled out a warm manila envelope. She returned and placed it on the table. The label read, Liam's college fund. She opened it. Receipts. Napkins. Torn order slips. Dozens of them. I documented everything, Sarah said, voice trembling but steady. Every shift. Every estimate. Every lie. She picked one up. Thursday, November 7th. My tables brought in about $280. I was given $63. Another. October 23rd. Estimated $310. Received $89. She looked directly at Derek. For the first time, there was no fear in her eyes. I didn't know if anyone would ever listen, but I knew I couldn't stay silent. Alex closed his laptop. That's enough, he said. 2 security guards entered the room. Derek Torres, you're terminated effective immediately. If you return to this property or contact any employee, criminal charges will be filed. The Department of Labor is already reviewing the case. The guards escorted Derek out. No one stopped him. When the door closed, the room stayed silent. What happened here, Alex said finally, is my failure. He took a breath. I lost sight of the people who make this place run. That ends today. He laid out the changes. No forced tip pooling. Full transparency. Automated tracking. Anonymous reporting direct to him. Zero tolerance for retaliation. Then he opened a briefcase. Every stolen dollar is being repaid. With interest. He handed out checks. Emma, Jason, Rebecca, then Sarah. 11,200 stolen. With interest, 13,216. Sarah stared at the check. I can't. It's yours, Alex said softly. It always was. He paused and added, I'm also offering you the position of assistant general manager. Effective immediately. The room erupted. Full benefits, Alex continued, including comprehensive coverage for your son's medical care. Sarah collapsed into her chair, sobbing. 3 months later, the harbor side felt different. Kinder, safer, honest. Sarah trained new servers with a simple rule. Everyone who walks through that door matters. 6 months later, Derek pleaded guilty to wage theft. Alex sat at the bar, speaking to camera. Wage theft affects 40 million Americans. Document everything. Know your rights. Protect your people. Behind him, Sarah greeted a new customer with the same warmth as always, because dignity had become the standard, not the exception.